Mesdames et messieurs,
Now learned that
l'heure de la décision
voting's been
approche.
completed and that
Nous
the
savons maintenant
IOC
que les
members
membres du
are
CIO
making their
ont
way
terminé leurs
to the
travaux. Ils
stadium.
quittent en
They're a
ce moment
distinguished
le
group with
Sporting d'été.
three
Ils
princes,
sont en route pour
two
venir nous
princesses,
rejoindre ici dans cette
a
salle.
general, etc.
Et pour
Right?
A
faire
sheikh,
connaître
yes,
au monde
a
d'ici
Middle Eastern
quelques
sheikh,
minutes
a king
le
from the South
résultat
Sea Island. There
de leur
are 89 of
délibération.
the delegates or the members,
Ladies and gentlemen, we've
and we're
heard
about
that the
15
voting is
minutes
over,
away from
and while the members make their
the
way
announcement
over
of
to
who
this
has
hall
won the
for the
games.
exciting announcement,
So no
we'll
one here
spend some
knows, of
time
course,
looking back
as they sit here and wait.
in history for the
Royal
reason
Box
why we're all here
and
today.
Prime Minister,
to look at
3
those
from the
great
right
sporting
and
moments that make
Anita
us so
Keating 2 from the
dedicated
right
to the
with
Olympic movement.
Prince Ranier just on the left of the screen.
Pretty much in the centre there, isn't he? And John Major, of course, is there in that royal box as well as the honoured guests.
Par l'un des cinéastes qui connaît le mieux l'histoire.
Now, it's no surprise the IOC members have arrived. And for all of you with the bidding cities, now you know what it's like to wait before you're called up for the big race. So now it's time to announce the city that will be the official host in the year 2000. Boris Quadro, will you help me?
Je vais bien sûr
Yes,
vous
he's just
aider.
making the point here that while that film was on, that the members of the IOC, 89 members from all around the world who've decided, while we've been here, including, of course, Prince Albert of Monaco, they've decided who's going to get those games in the year 2000. They're placed right alongside the royal box. Prince Renier applauding them, Prime Minister and
Alors, mesdames et messieurs,
Mrs. Keating.
ainsi que Donna vient de le dire, il ne reste plus que quelques instants avant le moment fatidique. Et j'aimerais maintenant inviter à nous rejoindre ici sur cette scène dans l'ordre Maître François Carrat, directeur général du CIO.
Maître François Carrat, Director of the International Olympic Committee.
Madame Anita de France, scrutateur, membre du CIO aux États-Unis.
Anita de France, member of the IOC, United States.
Maître Marc Hodler, président de la Commission des finances, membre du CIO en Suisse.
Maître Mark Hodler, Chairman, Finance Committee, IOC.
He's one of the two men who know the result.
You made the point earlier, Bruce, that in fact there are only two men, including Samaranch does not know, even though he's the president, he's the influence, but he doesn't know.
And here's the other man, the Senegalese judge.
They were the scrutineers, they took all the votes today.
Le quatrième vice-président du CIO, Dr Kim Eun-young, membre du CIO en Corée.
Dr. Kim Eun-young, fourth vice
Now
president.
the vice
IOC
presidents are being introduced, which will include Kevin Gosper.
There are 4 vice presidents in the International Olympic Committee.
Membre du CIO en Russie.
Third vice president, Mr. Vitaly Smirnov, IOC member in Russia.
These men are all candidates to take over from Mr. Samaranch when he does
Monsieur
retire.
Kevin Gosper, membre du CIO en Australie.
Second vice president, Mr. Kevin Gosper in Australia.
Et le premier vice-président, Monsieur Jianyang He, membre du CIO en République populaire de Chine.
First vice chairman, and in the Chinese way, Mr. He
So
Zheng,
China and Australia
IOC
both
member
represented
in
here in these
People's
vice
Republic of
presidents.
China.
And now the biggest moment of the lot.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mesdames et messieurs,
the president of the International Olympic Committee.
le président du Comité international olympique.
His Excellency Juan Antonio Samaranch.
Not a controversial figure, but
The International Olympic Committee wishes to thank the 5 bidding cities, Beijing, Berlin, Istanbul, Manchester, and Sydney, for their efforts in presenting the bids and also promoting the Olympic movement. We really regret that there is only one winner, and the winner is The winner is Sydney, Australia.
What a great moment. Well,
the mob down there,
so well deserved, Ray.
out of courtesy of the Chinese, of course, I congratulate the Australians.
What a marvellous moment for our country. We have such a tradition in the Olympic arena, and to think that we're here tonight.
$27 million that we wondered about, in fact $60 million altogether to get it to one of the Australian cities in the last 3 bids, has finally paid off with this marvelous occasion.
Money extremely well spent. The Prime Minister is one of the there are 3 Prime Ministers here today, and he's the only one who has left with Mrs. Keating, and I think they've gone down now to join the Sydney contingent.
Yes, they've left the royal box. Have done so much to make this possible.
Well, the feeling today was that it was the best presentation and that our chances were growing hour by hour. Marvellous scenes back home and here.
But you could never know, could you? That was the point about it. You could never quite know, of course, what was going to happen. This was the vote that they couldn't call. 875 days the Australians like Rod McGeoch have spent trying to get this thing up at $27 million.
And dare I say, I think it's also a victory for the International Olympic Committee as the Prime Minister, Mr. Keating, joins the group. And there's the reaction again.
Ah, yes, there's Rod McGeoch with his Aussie hat.
He's a Kubra hat.
And the New South Wales Premier, John Fahey, can't quite believe it, can they? They've got to try and restore some order here. It's not just the Australians who've gone mad, but I think it's a very popular decision, actually.
The official contract will be signed.
What they have to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is sign the contracts, basically signing $1 billion of Australian money, Bruce, for these games in the year 2000.
It's going to give us all so much to look forward to.
So much. This is a very historic day.
What a party there'll be back home.
And there's Neville Griner as well. In fact, was the Premier who launched this bid, has since retired from politics. But he has every right to feel very happy about this as well. Frank Sartor, of course, the Mayor of Sydney, comes up to sign it. And the Premier, I would believe. There's Graham Lovett, who has been in charge of the facilities preparations. He's put John Coates, there you go, John Coates.
So John Coates and Frank Sartor will come up and sign the contract, which officially says that Sydney takes responsibility for the games in the year 2000. It might be 7 years away, but I can feel it already, can't you?
You can indeed feel it already, can't you?
And look at the scenes in the street.
Well, we were told that they expected 10,000 or so in Manchester today, but we've got many more than that in Sydney, I think. A gift from Frank Sartor. There you go. Frank Sartor is giving Mr. Samaranch an Aussie koala. What a great moment that is. Paul Keating behind him, John Fahey there, the New South Wales Premier, and all those peach T-shirts down the front. They can't quite believe it. Well, we thought our hearts were ruling us today, Bruce, when we said that we thought Australia could win it, but there you go. That's marvellous stuff.
And the reactions back in Sydney and right around Australia. And the team here are watching the reaction in Sydney and responding.
All right, we might just let this go on, Bruce. Why don't we just have a look at it? We have to go down. We've got the great pleasure now of interviewing the... We'll let Australia have a look at this and the activity inside the hall, and we'll go down and talk to them.
Pour leur hospitalité et leur parfaite organisation.
And it is official, the city that will host the games in the year 2000, that will usher in a new millennium, is Sydney, Australia. For Boris Quadro and myself, we thank you. And for those cities who did not win, as an Olympian, I would like to say that I wish you could all win, stay in for the good fight. This was the most extraordinary bidding process in the history of the modern Olympics. Thank you for taking part. Goodbye, farewell, and au revoir. For Boris Quadro and me, congratulations to Sydney.
So bright and share the spirit I learned.
Well, congratulations, Sydney. I don't think I can still quite believe it. There's fireworks and a lot in store over at Circular Quay. Let's go over to Don Lane and check out what's happening.
Well, you can see what's happening. The fireworks are blazing over the top of the Opera House. They've been flashing signs. We won. I tell you what, there must have been about half of these people in here won't admit it, but they were disbelievers. I gotta tell you the truth. I didn't think we had a chance. This is Chris Downey, the Minister for Sport and Recreation, who just said here he was rehearsing his lies, what he was going to say. How do you feel?
I am stunned, Don. It's just so magnificent, mate. It's fantastic. And it's a great thing for sport in this country. We've got the games, mate. It really is.
Didn't you get a turn in your gut just before they made that announcement? It's unbelievable.
The butterflies were going, mate. They were going for an hour before I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I just sat there thinking, what do we do if we lose? Even what do we do when we win, you know?
Well, it's all on now. Now, what's the first thing? Well, you're going to go in the office today, naturally.
Oh,
right?
definitely, mate. We've got to get ready, mate. We've got 7 years to get it all together now.
So what's your first step now, besides partying this morning?
Oh, well, mate, we'll have set up a whole new organisation. That's already underway. The government's already got plans to set up a committee now to run the games, and the government will be setting up an Olympic office within the Premier's department. So that was all in train, mate, before tonight's announcement. And of course, it all goes on from here. We go ahead with Homebush Bay, and Bob's your uncle, mate. The year 2000, we got the games.
Well, I'll tell you something. Rather fortuitous. You've really made some great advancements out at Homebush Bay already.
We certainly have, Don. I mean, we basically had all the facilities underway, or they were already constructed. We only really have 4 facilities to go, plus the village, mate. So it's all underway, and we're going to have a great party in the year 2000, mate.
Listen, you got to come out of your shell and be a bit more enthusiastic, you know.
Oh, mate, well, I mean, I'm still stunned. I just say, mate, it is magnificent. It really is.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Don.
I hope everybody can enjoy this. Have a look at these fireworks and take a look at those crowds out there responding. The enthusiasm tonight before they got here has paid off, boy. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have trouble getting home, I think.
Well, mate, I want to thank all the people of Sydney for what they're doing tonight. The crowd here tonight is absolutely magnificent. I walked down from one of the hotels in Sydney, and it's fantastic to see all the people coming out tonight. So I'd just like to say on behalf of the government, thank you, Sydney, for what you've done tonight.
Go Sydney! See ya.
Thanks, mate.
All right, mate.
Well, what a beautiful harbour our Sydney harbour is, and it will be the focus of the world sporting stage in the year 2000. Well, just as the excitement is being generated down at Circular Quay, so it is too out here at Homebush Bay. People in the Congo line, Waltzing Matilda being sung. Mark Warren is down there amongst all the jubilant supporters and some very happy people.
Jeanette Samaranch can draw out a moment, can't he? How long did it take him to open that envelope? All around here, it was quite unbelievable. People really thought that we weren't going to get the games, and they were saying, please, Sydney, and when it happened, they couldn't believe it. What do you think?
Oh, fantastic, isn't it? I've just come from the Harbour Bridge. I dropped my daughter, a 19-year-old, underneath the Harbour Bridge. And it's absolutely electric down there, and it's fantastic back here.
That guy had a tear in his eye. Anyway, well done. Thanks for that. I'll have to do up the front room now. Back to you, Karen.
Thank you, and now we
Holding
join the
an
Prime
international
Minister.
pageant, and an international pageant in sport, the thing which is most dear to the Australian heart.
Mr. Keating, there's a moment there, though, where Mr. Samaranch paused and actually had to turn the paper upside down there. What were you thinking?
Well, I honestly thought that the long draw at the balloting time was really running in our favour, because the tension in here, I think, was between China and Sydney, between Beijing and Sydney, and what anything but a Sydney decision meant for the international Olympic movement and its politics. So I thought the long time was going to help us. So you know, what was hard to tell. Everyone had serious faces, but I thought we could possibly get there.
Mr. Keating, can I compare it with winning an election? Are you as excited at the moment as when Labor won?
They're comparable, Bruce. They're comparable.
You've always been an excellent numbers cruncher, dare I say, and you've done it again.
Oh, well, there's a lot of people crunching this ballot. No, there's a lot of...
Can we ask you what you thought again? Let's say what you thought that last 1 minute.
When I was really looking at Kevin Gosper's face, and I thought he looked pretty confident.
He was sitting off to one side. Now, we have to thank you. We think that you were one of those the mystery weapons that we had today.
Thank you.
Yes, you made a very moving speech today, and I think it had a lot to do with our victory.
Thank you very much. But it was a teamwork. We all worked very hard. We all worked very hard when we were in Barcelona too.
Well, with a margin of 2, everyone's in that one, you see.
Tell us the vote then, Mr. Giddy. We didn't see the breakdown. Tell us what the vote was.
I think there were 4 eliminating ballots, and as I understand, Australia had about 30 votes all the way through. And as I understand it, when Berlin went out, the Berlin votes came to Australia.
Was it basically us against China, though, in the end, against Beijing?
I think in the final playoff, it was Australia 45 to Beijing 43.
Could we possibly declare a public holiday back home?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I know there'll be a lot of celebrating going on.
Now, Paul, what would you say to any boss who got crook if someone didn't turn up at work today?
Well, I think that we'll have the time to savour this one and build towards this one, because we've still got to make this the Olympics we hope it to be. And I think that's what we're looking forward to, 2000.
You're not going to have any champagne poured all over you tonight, are you?
No, I'll be pouring a little bit inside me, I can assure you.
Are you going to the football finals on the weekend?
Well, Canterbury, Canterbury, my team sort of got knocked out last weekend, so that probably sees me out of that.
But Mr. Keating, our team won tonight, and that's the most important thing.
Our team, that's right. The Australian team won tonight, and that's the most important thing.
We've been looking for the recovery. We don't want to wait till the year 2000, but certainly this is...
Well, this should be a great confidence builder for the country. You know, to think that we can hack it in the big swim of an international decision like the Olympic Games. I think this should be a great confidence builder for Australians to know that they're up there with the rest, that they're taken seriously, and Australia really ranks out there.
And what about your young family? Because we used an 11-year-old today, and she talked about the excitement of young people in Australia. Your young family, how do you think they might react to this?
I think, well, they all play sport, and they'll be as keen about this, I think, as most young Australians will. We've now got, you know, the better part of a decade to work up to this.
Well, thank you very much, and it's been a tremendous victory for us.
Great victory.
Just leave one on and get ready. Where's the camera? Micheline, camera.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, I've got a wonderful staff of 40-odd people there, and half of them are at home. I'm sad about that, looking forward to getting back to be with them. And I always said if we won that the first words I should utter are for my staff, and I mean that.
Right, now tell us what went through your mind again today. There was just no way. When we talked to Olympic experts here, they said it's too close, we can't pick this one.
Well, I thought we'd, and I said to you yesterday, Ray, privately, that I've always thought that there were too many votes being counted for Beijing that actually weren't there. I was slightly wrong because it went to the 4th round and there were only a couple of votes in it.
What do you think did it then? I mean, there was so much talk about the push that Mr. Samaranch may have, and the fact that it was a juggernaut called China.
I think we campaigned well, but I think in the end the popularity of Australia really got us there.
The popularity, it was a very popular vote, wasn't it, here? I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a popular place. I mean, it's a wonderful place, Australia, and, you know, the sort of support we had. I mean, where else can you raise $15 million in the middle of a recession like that? I mean, the Australians deserve to have the Games.
Right, I think as well, we understand there's a bigger crowd in Sydney now, Darling Harbour, than either in Beijing or in Manchester.
Oh, that's good. I'm pleased to hear that. I hope they have a great time.
Bruce, you've got John Coates, another one of those we need to thank.
Yes,
Thanks,
the
Ron.
president of the Australian Olympic Committee, the man who just signed the document. John, today in your presentation, you talked about the athletes and what Sydney can do for the athletes. I'm sure every athlete in Australia right now is rejoicing.
It's going to be a tremendous legacy for our athletes and those of the world. We've won it on technical merit, which we always thought we would. It's a bit closer than I thought it was, though.
Your faith was never dim, though, because I know that all along you stood firm and you felt we had the numbers.
Oh, we felt we had around the 30 in the first round. That's what we had. I was a bit surprised, as it turns out, that some of the Istanbul and Berlin votes didn't come to us, and it took until Manchester went out. But we got there.
We sure did. I believe we were behind going into the last round, and we've ended up winning by 2 votes.
We were behind by 3 into the last round, so we had to get 8 of Manchester's 11 to win.
Tell us about some of the competitions that now may occur in Australia in the 7 years leading up.
The 7 years leading up, we are obligated in every sport to host a world championship or the like to prepare. Just for Australian sport alone, from the Olympic Committee, there will be another $100 million that we will be able to inject into sport. We will have a full team in every sport in Atlanta. and obviously we'll have a full team when we host the games. The impact on Australian sport will be what it was for Melbourne in 1956.
All right, John, congratulations. John Fahey, what's it mean to New South Wales? What's it mean to Australia?
It means that merit has been recognised, sport's the winner, and the Sydney people have had a wish which has simply been overpowering right throughout the world to a point that that name came out of the envelope. I am just so thrilled for them, for the support they gave us.
John, we saw some footage afterwards of when that decision was announced. You just about went into orbit.
Well, I have to say that there was some pent-up emotion there. It's been coming for a long, long time, because you can wish for all you want. You've still got to make it work. I think we made it work, but nevertheless, the burst of energy was there, and I let a little bit go. I'm delighted, though. I'm delighted. Of course, the task now begins. And could I say this, that we showed through this bid that we were capable of uniting as a community. If we can continue to do that, not just for the games, but also for all that we do, that ingenuity, that brilliance that comes through at times, that's going to put Australia ahead in leaps and bounds, right down through to the games and beyond.
It's a cue then, Bob Carter, come in, because it was united. I can't remember since the America's Cup where all parties and all people have been together on this one.
It was fantastic. It was a win for the people of Sydney, both sides of politics, the whole community behind this, and I think it was the reason we won. It was a contrast with the other bids, our competitors. We were united, our community, our political system, all our political leaders united behind this, making it a victory for the people of New South Wales.
Can I go further and say it's a victory for Australia, because we know that now the cameras are going to come down, the focus is going to be, the spotlight's going to be on Australia. We know that, in fact, every part of Australia, from one end to the other, is going to benefit from this.
Well, of course, we took people through the land in our presentation today, and we're Australians. The city was Sydney, but without any doubt, Australia is going to benefit as a result of that.
All right, now, economically, again, gentlemen, what should we talk about? There's talking about 150,000 more jobs, maybe 7 billion.
156,000 jobs, $7.3 billion from the Pete Marwick assessment. I think the fact is that this is the catalyst that's going to get the confidence going in Australia. That's what we needed. We needed the boost. We've got it, and I think tomorrow they're going to go out with renewed vigour and do things even better than they usually do it.
Bob, it clinches Sydney as the city of the next century. That's its absolute significance. We are the city of the next century.
Let's talk about Australia too, Bob.
Yep, a great win for Australia, no doubt about that.
Congratulations.